There we go. Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's Circuit Stream workshop. Today, we're going to be focusing on building a VR museum in Unity. So we will get going here in a few minutes. For now, feel free to kind of get yourself relaxed, get yourself settled in. You can take a note off to the side here. I can see people are already interacting in the chat, which is great. So that's a couple things I just wanted to go over. First off and foremost, everyone, I just want to double check, do a quick A/B check. Can everybody see me okay? Can everybody hear me okay? Feel free to give me a little bit of feedback up on the side. Yes, awesome, perfect, good. So aside from that, I just wanted to make note of the chat. You're obviously using it off to the side there. You can utilize that throughout the presentation. There's also a questions tab, guys, and there is a polls tab. I will be utilizing the polls tab a little later on in the presentation. After we bring in the speaker and we go through the formal portion, I'll drop a poll in and ask everybody's feedback on how things are going. But in the meantime, you can utilize the question section. You can utilize the chat function. Now the questions, we may get to some of those throughout the presentation, but just keep in mind that we will do a portion for Q&A at the end as well. So anything that we don't get to right away, we'll make sure that we go through that afterwards there. Yeah, my first workshop hosting, wish me luck. It is true. I'm going to disclose that to everybody here right off at the beginning. This is my very first hosted workshop, so please do be kind to me. Now, outside of that, I think that's basically all of the housekeeping items I wanted to go over. One thing I do like to start with is feel free to put in the chat. Let me know where everybody is from. Me, myself, I'm actually from Calgary, Alberta, Canada. That is where, thank you, Derek. That is where our company is founded as well. New York City, UK, so many, Texas, Austin, Atlanta, Syracuse, Montreal. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, guys, for joining us here today. We're going to pop into the actual presentation here in a minute. One thing I do want to always note, and I'm probably going to say this several times throughout the presentation here today, everything is recorded. So just so you're aware, you're obviously able to participate in the live portion here, but in case you were looking for the information afterwards, this will be recorded and shared with everybody. So without further ado, why don't we get into the actual presentation portion here. Make sure I'm sharing the websites properly. And here we go. Awesome. Ooh.
Everyone. He has disappeared. We'll give him a few moments to return. I'll just provide the usual entertainment for today. I will be your instructor for the technical portion of the workshop. So I'll just provide a little background about myself. There he is.
I'm back. I'm back.
All right.
Yeah, starting off the very first workshop and having a technical issue to start with, but now that we've gotten that out of the way, we should be able to flip through everything here a little bit more comfortably.
Awesome.
I'll
Good
pop
to
back.
know. I'll leave the stage to you.
Thank you so much, Nikisa, for hopping in there. Thank you. Okay, so let's try this again. Let's try. And we are going to share. There we go. Okay, now I'm hoping everybody can see this okay. This is the formal portion of the presentation now. So building a VR museum. Today we're going to be using Unity 3D to build the VR museum. I'm just going to pop over quick and make sure everybody can see me okay. Awesome. No, the poll's going to come up in a little bit there, David. So I will, I'll share that shortly here. But okay, so to begin, a little bit about myself. My name is Tyler Trapp. I'm an enrollment advisor here at Circuit Stream. I actually come from a background in hospitality, tourism industry. I have about 10 plus years working there. And then a personal note about myself, I'm actually an artist, self-taught, but I have been painting and drawing since I was quite young. And then just more recently, I have flipped into the digital art space. I've been playing a little bit with Procreate, and I'm hoping to kind of shift that eventually and maybe move a little bit more into 3D art as well. But for now, I'm sticking with the 2D in Procreate. Nikisa, she's already popped in here and saved me a little bit when I had a malfunction. But Nikisa is our lovely instructor and our guest speaker here for today. She has been with CircuitStream for about 3 years. She has an engineering and arts background, and the combination of those two gives her a very unique approach to XR development. She has designed and developed projects for HoloLens, for Magic Leap, for Oculus Quest, and for Valve Index. So in just a few minutes here, I'm going to welcome Nikisa back up onto the stage again. Before that, I just wanted to run through a few of the agenda items for today. So right now we're at the beginning portion here. You can see the introduction is about 10-15 minutes. That's what we're currently in right now. Nikisa is going to take over for the technical session shortly thereafter. And then we're going to get into our wrap up and resources. So after the technical session, I will pop back in here. We can go over some information. I can share a little bit about us at CircuitStream. I can share some of the resources for our upcoming workshops and courses. We also have a new course today that we are announcing, so I'm happy to share that with you as well. And then we will have some live Q&A at the very end. Like I said, just pop your questions into the questions tab at the side, and we'll get to them either throughout or in the Q&A portion at the very end there. So CircuitStream, we can start here by telling you a little bit about CircuitStream and who we are. We are an educational company. We were founded back in 2015. Our founders noticed a gap in personalized training in an education space in the immersive technology or XR fields, I guess. XR is just the umbrella term for extended reality, really. But to date, we have supported over 40,000 individual learners. These learners have taken part in our various workshops, in our courses over the years. And this is a huge milestone for us. Obviously, 40,000 learners is amazing. We were so excited to see that and to just see it continue to grow with more people signing up for the courses every day here. So our team at CircuitStream, you can see that we are located all over the place. We have a team of about 30 experts coming in from all over the world. We represent different backgrounds so that we're able to teach folks of all different skill levels about the value of VR and AR and how to build apps within Unity. I did mention before I'm located in Calgary. You can see as well that's where it's located on there, noting the founding of the company. That's where our founding location is, Calgary, Alberta here. So let's flip through. Let's talk a little bit about our certification and our connection with Unity. So CircuitStream is actually a Unity certified partner. What does that mean? Well, in order to be a certified training partner with Unity, it would be based on the level of expertise. It would be based on the quality of education. It would be based on the commitment to providing the highest level of training available. So in order for us to be a training partner, we would have had to have met all of those criteria, and we do, which is great. At CircuitStream, we actually offer industry standard certifications that are tied to international standardization models. If you're interested in learning more about these certifications, I highly recommend that you check out our blog post on the subject. It is chock full of information about how it all works and why these types of certifications are so valuable. We do also have partnerships with universities. So in the last year or so, CircuitStream has been partnering with some of the world's most prestigious universities to offer educational programs. Our XR development with Unity program is now offered to continuing education departments by all 3 of the institutions that you can see on the screen right now. And we do also have plans to offer interaction design course in early 2022. Another exciting development is that we are also launching new partnerships with even more schools throughout North America. Stay tuned for more information on that. I know that internally here, there has been some really big updates in that area so far. We should have announcements coming out soon. So who do we work with? CircuitStream, above all else, is an educational company. As you can see here on the screen, we've had the pleasure of working with some of the world's largest and most exciting companies. Given how quickly VR and AR, and how quickly the industry, I should say, is accelerating, the biggest companies and institutions in the world are taking notice. They're innovating with this technology. They're sending their staff through to be trained in these areas as well. So that's, just a quick snapshot of some of the companies. Obviously, there's even more than this, but good ones for us to note here. So what is Unity? This is really important to note. So anybody who's looking at this right now, if you recognize this interface, chances are you are familiar with Unity. If you've seen this specific muffin clicker game that's on the screen right now, chances are you've already completed our C# scripting fundamentals course. But for those of you who are not already familiar with Unity, Unity is a free 3D game development, 3D development engine for building games, simulations, and experiences. It is the easiest way to begin making apps, games, and experiences. It is a program that can be used in both 2D and 3D, and it would include augmented and virtual reality. In our opinion, Unity is definitely the program that it would be most beginner friendly. It can be compared to other programs quite often, but the feedback that we receive, and in our opinion specifically, it is the most beginner friendly. If you're looking to begin making your own XR applications, Unity is definitely a really good place for you to start. What do we know about Unity's impact? They are used to create over 60% of the world's AR and VR content at the moment, and they're responsible for a massive share, broader content application markets. Let's flip through here. Their impact is global. Their apps developed in Unity are downloaded about 3 billion times monthly, which is insane. And this software is literally borderless, and it is used in over 190 countries globally at the moment. So what does the process look like? Basically, just like anything else, all of these applications that are being developed and designed would start with an idea. From there, you would need to build your assets, bring them to life in Unity, and create immersive interactions using scripts in the C# programming language. Once you are happy with your build, you need to leverage an SDK. An SDK is a software development kit, and that's to ensure that your target device is compatible with your build. Once you've done that, that's it. You can render it, you can publish it, and there you've got it. That's your app. So that's kind of what the process would look like from start to finish. Academic offerings. So obviously we have a bunch of different offerings here. We would offer free online workshops and webinars, much like the one that you were in here today. But we also have a variety of courses that we offer. They're all designed to help students learn how to build VR, AR content in Unity. These courses are mainly for beginners, but honestly, we can help people who are a little bit more intermediate or advanced. We can build basically individual team training offerings if we were looking at something like that. We can also look at private one-on-one sessions with the instructors for people who are looking a little bit more advanced or intermediate, like we said. So let's take a look here. This is kind of three of our main courses: Introduction to Unity 3D Development, XR Development with Unity, and then XR Interaction Design and Prototyping. We more recently had introduced the Introduction to Unity 3D Development. That would be an 8-week course, whereas the other two here are 10-week courses. They are live instructor-led programs focused. This one in particular, the introduction, would be focused on Unity fundamentals and has students creating their own project while they learn. By the end of that course, you will have created and launched a fully completed application. If you were looking for something a little bit more AR specific, we have the XR development and the interaction design courses, as I mentioned, on the screen as well. What else do we have? And I should note as well, so the XR development course is currently partnered with the University of British Columbia and also the University of Toronto. Both of these have upcoming cohort start dates of January 11th. And then, as I mentioned earlier, we will be introducing the interaction design courses into our universities starting shortly as well. I would imagine pretty soon into 2022. And then lastly, before I kind of pass this over to Nikisa to take over here, what are we going to learn today? So in today's workshop, we are going to learn how to build VR scenes in a Unity environment. We are going to learn how to place 3D objects in Unity, and we would be using shadows and baking lights to achieve a better immersion. So without further ado, I'm going to try and not mess it up this time. Let's see if I can do this properly. I'm going to invite Nikisa to come back up to the stage now. If you're ready to go, you can pop back up here, Nikisa. I don't know if I need to stop sharing this first, but I will. There we go. Perfect. All right. Well, welcome, Nikisa.
Hi. Thank you.
Yeah. So I can let you take over from here. Obviously, we'll have a little bit of chance for Q&A at the end there, but without further ado, I will step out here and I will let you take over.
For sure. So we will be starting from scritchy scratch, and we'll be using the XR interaction toolkit for all of our interactions and movement and such. So without further ado, let's see what I can teach you. And I'm a poet and I don't know it. Can everyone see my screen? It's always pun time. Always pun time. Yes, we have good. Very good. So we are going to create a brand new project from scratchy scratch. And this is using the Unity Hub right here. Now I'm going to go through this fairly quickly. So what I recommend doing is watching this, and then with the record and the replay button, do it yourself, follow along. So here we are looking and listening and trying to take in all the information possible, because I am going to go through this fairly quickly. We'll be working with the UI system of Unity primarily. So let's go right ahead and create a brand new project. I'm going to click on this new button right there. I'm going to rename this to a VR museum. Path already exists. Let's go here and let's go into, there it is, VR museum. Double click in there and select folder. Museum app. There we go. So you will be receiving this GitHub repo for the project that I'm doing, and you'll receive it after the class, or after, just finished the class, after the workshop. So let's hit that create button and create a brand new project. So I was reorganizing my books here, and they just like all tumbled on me, and I was like, dang it, I only have my shelf to blame. And here it is. Here is the project. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how many people have Unity experience already? 1 being the least, 10 being -0, 10 being the most. Okay. So we got some -5. How do we have a -5? All right, so Tim, you got a 9. You're currently doing a commercial game design masters. So you might get a little antsy with the rate that I'm going at, because this workshop is geared towards beginners. So let's begin. So on the left-hand side here, we have the hierarchy. This is basically a list of all the game objects, all the things that are in our scene. Our scene is where we will be doing our world building, right in here. So we have this scene, which will do the world building. Next is we'll be importing some assets and using the XR interaction toolkit. So you'll be getting a GitHub repo at the end of this workshop. So we are looking and listening. First things first, we got to import and configure the XR interaction toolkit. So I'm going to go all the way to the top of Windows, and then let's go to the package manager. And then right over here, you see this little gear icon? Does everyone see this? From hovering my cursor over that, I see an advanced. Everyone see that? Yes? Yes, ma'am. All right, cool. So we're going to click on this little gear icon, click on the advanced project settings, and we're going to enable preview packages. checking that and check I understand. Of course we understand. We understand everything perfectly except when we don't understand. Talk about a paradox. So now we have enabled preview packages. We can close this package manager. We can close this project settings, closing that. And now let's look at packages not in the Unity project, not in project. Let's look at packages in the Unity registry itself. So clicking on that. Now let's scroll down and down and down to the bottom of the rabbit hole. And now what we're going to do is we're going to import the XR interaction toolkit right there. That lovely, 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 lovely interaction toolkit. If the screen is grainy, do check your internet connection. Everything seemed to be clear on my end. So you can click on this XR interaction toolkit and click on install, that lovely install button. I did have a joke about sodium, but I was like, nah, they wouldn't get it. So we have this little pop-up. This is the XR Interaction Toolkit uses the new input system. So we have to pivot to use the new input system. And this is what this is asking us for. It's making you salty. So let's hit that lovely yes button because we are yes people. And we have a made up backup and let's go ahead. And it'll restart the Unity editor and bring it right back up to where we started. Right back up to where we started. And there we go. There we go. So there's another thing that we have to import in the XR Interaction Toolkit. And this is a very important step, so pay attention. Clicking on the XR Interaction Toolkit. Clicking on the samples. And we want the default input actions. We're going to import those. So now we have the samples folder and we have the XR Interaction folder toolkit. Whoops. XR Interaction Toolkit. Then we have this one and default input actions. And there we go. So now that we have this all right up and set up ready to go, we are going to import the VR Museum. I'm going to go to my Windows and Package Manager. Actually, I already have a package all set up and ready to go here. I'm going to go to Assets and Import Custom Package. Now, don't worry. You will have this in the replay button in the GitHub repo. I'm going to click on this VR Museum and open. And it'll import my museum that we will be using and some sounds that we will be using as well. It was suggested during my classes that I should write a book about all the puns that I say when I teach. And I'm like, you know what? That's a novel idea. So this is what we have. Published? No. So this is what we have. So we're going to import everything, all of these things, and click on import. Now, you can use a different museum. You can use a museum that you purchase from the Unity Asset Store. If you just go to the Unity Asset Store, right here, click on here, and you search for New Year's sale. Oh, dang it. That's how they just had a sale. And let's search for a museum. So this is the museum that we will be working with today. And you have these museums, these showrooms. You have all of, oh, there's even VR, but it is $120. So We are just going to use this art gallery museum right here. And this is what it'll look like. And guess what? Guess what? It is in the project that's it's important. It's important. Give it a minute and we'll get to it. So this is the museum that we will be using today. Lovely, lovely museum. So we're going to place our own vases, vase. What's the plural of vase? Vase, vase, plant pot. Anyways, so we'll be placing game objects in this scene and having a little button that plays a little blurb for the. I've heard comments that we cannot put in our Unity store assets under public GitHub account. Oh, that's true. You have to pay for it because of the licensing. So now what we'll do is we'll open this up. There's the museum. Following scene. Let's reload the sample scene. Type or namespace. DG is not in. Okay, let's double click on this. Let's actually delete this button UI interactable script because we don't need that. That's from a previous content. So let's just delete this button UI and delete. There is a bunch of websites that you can get museums on. There is CG Trader. There is Sketchfab. There is Turbo Squid. There's a whole bunch out there. There's a whole bunch. So let's check out the VR museum and let's check out our scenes and let's go into the VR museum. And let's import TMP essentials. And there we go. And here it is. Here is the project. Here's the project. So let's just take a tour and let's see what this is all about. We have an XR rig. Now, if you don't have an XR rig, we're going to create one. You're going to right click, go to XR and create an XR rig. Origin action based. Once you have that, we'll have the left grab controller. So you'll have these controllers here, and you'll have these actions that are mapped to the default input actions that we have imported. So an XR rig is basically what we have to use in VR. It contains your head, it contains your controllers, your left and right controllers, and then it also has a camera offset. So let's take a look. We have the camera offset, which is the height from your floor to your head. And no, we will not be able to use a mouse for this. So now you don't have to buy this asset. You can just get an asset from the asset store. It could be free, it could be paid for. It's just a museum as an example. So we have the left controller here, and then we have the right controller here. Now, these are for grabbing and throwing. So you will notice that in this scene, we have these vase, a vase. Now, this vase is a grabbable object. However, the grabbable object, what we have here, is we have, because in museums, we're not supposed to grab things. We're not supposed to touch the art. So the moment that we pick one up, let's take a look. The moment we put one up, and this is something that you can explore later on. You can dig around and see how I did it. But when you pick it up, warning lights will flash, music will stop, and you'll be demanded to put the vase back where you found it. Back where you found it. So let's do a vase here. Let's do this vase. This vase, I'm going to disable this vase. I'm going to put a very own vase right on top of that. And you can see that there's a little baked shadow right in here. So let's go into third-party 3D models, vessels, and source. And we want this guy. We want this one. Let's do this one. Let's place that right about there. And it's pretty big. It's pretty giant. So I'm going to scale that down. I'm going to hit R on my keyboard, clicking on the middle white button, and drag that to the left. And there we go. There's my pot. There is my pot. Press F to focus on your keyboard. And there's my pot. Let's move it over a little bit here. There we go. Now what we're going to do is we're going to have a little button right there. It is lagging. It does lag. It's smooth on my computer, but it is lagging. So now that we've placed this pot right here, we're going to have a little button down at the bottom here. And this button will be used to play a sound, to play a clip. Now this is the Onicho, some word that I do not know how to produce or do not know how to pronounce. There's a reason why I took engineering and not linguistics. Let's just say that. So now that we have a game object here, let's get another game object somewhere else. Let's get one over here. Let's do this one. Let's do this phase, and let's disable this phase, and let's put this one right about there. And then let's decrease the size right about there. There, and there. There we go. So it's pink. That means it does not have a material. So since this is the Lithos, this is the material it has. So let's change the shader. Let's go to a standard, and there it is. There is my light. There is my thing. Now, the reason why we're not seeing any light around here is because these things do need a light. Sometimes Unity assets do break. That is true. Yes, you can drag and drop your own assets into the project folder if you made things in like Maya or Blender or Cinema 4D, those types of things. So next thing that we're going to do is we're going to place a little button right down at the bottom, and it'll play a little blurb of our game object here. So to do that, I'm going to right click in here and go to UI and a canvas. This canvas is giant. This canvas right now is called a screen space overlay right there. Now, what this means is that it's covering my entire screen, and we don't want that. We want this to be somewhere in the world. We want to place this somewhere in the world. So we have to change the rendering mode. I'm going to switch this to world space, and then I'm going to set the position to 0 and 0. And let's do a width of about 500 and a height of about 500 as well. So now let's do the scale. Let's do 0.01, 0.01, 0.01. And now let's double click on this. And there's my canvas. We see we already have a little canvas, a little example right there. And that's what we will be doing. So on this canvas, it needs a button. I'm going to right click on this canvas, go to UI and a button. Now this button, I'm going to change the icon of it. And I'm also going to modify the anchors. Now the anchors are something that you can... Oh, you guys want the GitHub now? You want it now? There we go. Here we go. So let's do added assets. And then we wait. So on this button, we're going to change the sprite so it looks like a little circle or a little info button. So over to the right-hand side, we're going to modify these anchors so it takes up this entire square. I'm going to click on these anchors there, and then going all the way over to the bottom right-hand side, clicking on that so the anchors cover the entire canvas. And that's what I want. So now I'm going to use put left in the 0, top in the 0, right to 0, and bottom to 0. So now we have, let's decrease these gizmos here. We have a button that's covering the entire canvas. Now that we have that, let's change the icon. So over in the image where it says UI sprite, I'm going to change this image. So I'm going to click on this little circle. And what do we want? We don't want a U-turn. We don't want a warning there. We want something else. We want something that'll tell us information. So we're looking for something. We don't want Facebook, Meta. I know who you are. Or you could hit the question mark or the play button. Or we could use a ring icon. We could use an info icon. Let's use the info icon right there. Right there. Happy little trees. Let me push to origin. There we go. So now that we have our button here, let's decrease the size, clicking on R and moving this down. Whoops, that's the button. We want the canvas. Clicking on R and decreasing the size so it's about button size. There we go. And now we have to place this over to the, let's do this one first. This one and that and that, and focus. And then we bring that up. And then we had to switch it around because this is the forward size. So now let's do 180. There we go in the Y. And hit W for moving. Press F to focus. And there we go. There's our button. There it is. Move that over a little bit. There. Now there's two things that need to happen for this canvas to work. It needs something called a tracked raycast driver or a tracked device. There it is. Tracked device graphic raycaster. Whew. Tracked device raycast graphic raycaster. It needs one of these things to work with the Unity XR interaction toolkit. And it also needs one more thing. It needs something, it needs a camera in the event camera. So what I've done is I provided a script for you that just sets everything up. It's called VR Canvas. Now this script just makes sure that it's a required component type of tracked device graphic raycaster. And it sets that the canvas that the canvas world camera is the camera.main. So all I need to do is just attach this script to my canvas and it'll work with the XR interaction toolkit. VR canvas right there, and automatically adds a track device graphic recaster because that is a required component in the script. Now, does that make sense? Don't worry, Euler be fine. I will survive. I will survive. So let's place the button somewhere else too. Let's place this button with the other one. I'm going to Control D on this canvas, duplicate that. I'm going to click on this and move that over. And let's move that over to the other vase here. I'm going to move that here. Let's do 0 in the rotation, 0 here. Press F to focus, move it here, and move it there. And there we go. So now we have our buttons all set up and ready to go. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to add some audio sources on this canvas. I'm going to add component, add an audio source. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a look at my scripts folder. And we want to play sound. So sound player. This is the warning lights that you can take a look at another time. And this is, let's check out this sound. So what we have is we have a public audio clip. This is a MP3 or a .wav file that will play. And then this audio source. Now get component on an audio source is right here. So think of get component like a dog that fetches a toy. This get component is going to fetch a type of toy. This type of toy is an audio source. So this audio source, this sound player needs to have access to this audio source. So it needs to be on this game object. Now, if I hit play and I just play it regularly and I am so if I hit play and I press these buttons, nothing is going to happen. Nothing is going to happen because my sound player script is not attached to this game object. Mono behavior and a script demands that it must be on a live game object. It demands a sacrifice. So let's drag this sound player on top of the canvas like so. And there we go. So now we need an audio clip for this game object. So let's go into sounds and we want the audio for this one. Audio, dragging and dropping it there. So, does that make sense? Let's break this script down a little bit more. We have a public void called toggle sound. Now, if this was private, would I be able to see this outside of this script? Would I be able to access this outside of this script? No, I would not. It needs to be a public void. This is something called an accessor. This is something we have. This is something called an accessor. So we want to be able to access this method from the button. And this button, this on click, that's where we're going to call that toggle sound function, that toggle sound method. So what we have to do is we now have to wire up this method to the button. So let's go to the button and scrolling down, let's click on that on click. And then we need access to the script itself. So I'm going to drag this canvas, dragging this canvas and dropping it over where it says none object there, dropping it there. Now I'm going to go to this no function and I'm going to go to sound player, my script, and then I'm going to select toggle sound. Look, there it is. That's my public void. So let's click on that. And there we go. So now that that is all set up and ready to go, let's do the other vase. Let's do this vase right over here. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go to this button. I'm going to go to this canvas first. And I'm going to drag this sound player from my scripts folder and then dropping it right there on my canvas. And now I need an audio clip. So let's go into sounds and drag this audio clip and drop it into where it says the sound player, right in there. So the VR Canvas script, there's two things that need to happen when you want a canvas to work or interact with the XR interaction toolkit. One of them is adding a component and adding a tracked device graphic raycaster. So this tracked device graphic raycaster is a required component for a canvas if you are to interact with it using the XR interaction toolkit. The other thing that needs to happen is that this event camera right here, this camera needs to have access to the main camera on the rig, the XR rig that has our head, our two controllers, and some UI controllers here. Now this is all set up and ready to go for you after the workshop. So I'm not going to go over that too much. This workshop is focusing on placing game objects and interacting with UI. So on UI, we have a left-hand UI controller here. And this is a ray interactor. It will only interact with things on a layer mask of UI. So clicking on this and going to UI. And that is how you do a UI raycaster. It has an XR ray interactor, and it also has an XR interactor line visual. This controls the visuals of our line. Now, does that make sense? So what's going to happen is that I'll be able to point at this button and then press my trigger button to interact with it. So let's save our scene. Don't forget to save, and let's finish doing this button. On the canvas, you have the VR canvas, which sets up your tracked device graphic raycaster and your vent camera here. And then we have the sound player that will play a sound that has that toggle. Let's delete this one. We don't need that. That will toggle the sound here. So on the button, clicking on this button, scrolling down, and that on click, you're going to click on this plus icon, dragging this canvas over into this runtime, dropping it there, going to that no function, going to sound player, and toggle sound. Now, does that make sense? Nah, just like sodium. So it mostly makes sense. Okay. So to move around on the XR rig, we have something called a continuous move provider and a locomotion system. These two things are required for us to move around in the scene. So we have a locomotion system. We have a continuous move provider. This continuous move provider, I'll be able to move my joystick, my right hand move my joystick, although my battery is dying. And I'll be able to move around and strafe and move around on the floor. So let's take a look at how this thing is going to work. Let's save the scene. And then on this canvas, we have the audio, we have the button that's all wired up and ready to go. Now, the important thing on this canvas is this VR canvas script. Now, I'm going to go over this again. So what this does is it's a required component type of graphic device or tracked device graphic raycaster. This will automatically add that component onto your canvas so you can interact with it using the XR interaction toolkit. The other thing it does is on enable, when this canvas is enabled, it'll set the main camera, it'll find the camera and set the main camera so that it has a reference in here and we can use it. Yes, I can copy and paste this button anywhere else. Anywhere else I can put this. Now, when I want to interact with a button, make sure that there is an event system in place. This event system allows us to trigger events that happen to our UIs. So if you don't have an event system and you're trying to press these buttons and it's not working, then add the event system and it will work. It registers anything that happens to canvases. So this is a VR workshop. This will only work in VR, not AR. So let's play. Let's see if it works. Let's hit play. And let's put this on. And currently, I am not seeing anything. And that's because I forgot to do something. I forgot to enable XR in my project. So right now, it's just a regular 3D. I need to enable XR. I need to enable that stuff. So let's go into Edit and Project Settings, and let's go into the XR Plugin Management and install the XR Plugin Management. There is a way that you can use WASD to point and click. There is, in the samples, there is a mock headset, I believe, that has the inputs mapped out. So now let's check Oculus and enable that. So I'm using an Oculus Rift S. For those of you who don't know, I find that it is more reliable than the AirLink or link cable for the Quest. And there we go. So now I'm going to close this And I'll hit play. So now, there we go. We are in VR. We are in VR. And there we are. So let's see if my movement will work. Whoops. That is from a test. So there we go. We have snap turns. We have snap turns moving over. Now it looks like my controller is dying, so I'll just move my headset over so that we can see that UI press. Right there. Let's go into game. And let's take a look. There it is. And there we go. Oh, but there is no audio source. We are missing a method. We are missing a little something something on this canvas. We're missing, let's add an audio source there. And now we'll play it. So let's go into the scene. Let's drag this XR rig. Right about there. Oh. Move that right about here. Move that here. Let's hit play. There it is. And let's hit play. And there we go. Is a type of ancient Greek vessel used for storing oil, especially olive oil. It has a narrow body and one handle attached to the neck of the vessel. One handle right up there. Type of jug with no pouring lip. The inakui is more like a modern jug. In its shoulder and cylindrical types which became the So now that our audio is working, let's get into baking. Let's exit play, and let's get to baking. Yes, baking for the light, because currently these are very dark. These are very, very dark. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right-click on this, go to Effects or Light, and let's create a directional light. And let's decrease its intensity down a little bit. Let's move that over here. Let's actually do a spotlight. There we go. Increase intensity. Ooh. Ooh. Very cool. And there it is. Now what we're going to do is we're going to bake this lighting. So we won't have any real-time lights. So now what we're going to do, how do we implement a grumpy elderly woman that looks disappointingly at you? VR museum simulation. So now that we have a light, let's go into Windows, Rendering, Lighting, and we'll click on this Generate Lighting right here. So we'll click on that, and it'll generate my lighting and bake everything here. Give it a moment. Give it a moment. It's thinking. It's thinking. Ooh. And it's almost done. Almost. Baking light usually takes a fairly long time, especially if you have a lot of lights in your scene. Yes, cookies. You can use cookies. And it's taking a real long time. So, what is a dinosaur's least favorite reindeer? Comet. It's Comet. And it is still baking. We got a lot of lights in here, but we'll see what it looks like. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. There we go. So we'll see that it looks a little bit baked right in here. We'll have a shadow and we'll have a whole bunch of lovely stuff when this light is finished baking. Baking means so light baking is sort of like the pre-calculation for highlights and shadows for a static game object, for something that is already in the scene. So it's pre-configuring and generating light so that we don't have to do it on runtime. There we go. It is okay for rendering. So there's a really good example of using baked lights instead of real-time lights. And a really good example of this is actually a game called Mirror's Edge. Mirror's Edge is a game that was made in 2008, and it doesn't use any fixed lighting. It doesn't use any real-time lights at all. Everything is baked. So it's an awesome game, and it's beautiful. And it's beautiful in the fact that it doesn't. It was made in 2008. It doesn't have those amazing, realistic graphics, but it does have amazing graphics for the environment because of baked light. That's how it saves energy. That's how it saves RAM. That's how it saves GPU processing. So Mirror's Edge is definitely a really good example of baked lighting versus. And there it is. Mirror's Edge is one of my favorite games. So when that baking is done, that will conclude this workshop. So I'll invite Tyler back on stage because it looks like this baking is doing a real long time. But that's basically the gist of it. And then you have a real time or a nice sounds like cocaine VR. For this type of experience, does it really help to fix the lighting? Yes, I would say it does. I would certainly say it does, because baking lighting really lights up your artifacts and really lights up your game objects that you want to have a lot of detail in.
Oh, I don't know if my screen has frozen on my end here. Can you hear me okay, Nikisa? Or everybody, I guess? Perfect. Awesome. Okay, good. So thank you so much, Nikisa. I'm sorry.
There we go. I'm back.
Oh, there we go.
I'm
Okay,
back.
I didn't know if that was on my side or if it was on yours. I was just making sure there it glitched out for a second. So awesome. Okay, sorry, Nikisa, were you finishing up there? I don't know if Nikisa can hear me. Well, I am just going to take back over here for now and hope that everyone can hear me okay. But Nikisa, if you can hear me, thank you so much. That was amazing. Another awesome presentation, another great workshop that we had here. Oh, there we go.
And there we go.
Awesome. And you can hear me okay, Nikisa?
So I'll give Tyler the stage now.
Okay. Yeah, you guys can hear me. I'm not quite sure what's happening with Nikisa's audio there, but
see you later.
Either way, thank you so much, Nikisa. Thank you, Nikisa. We'll bring you back in shortly here. So yeah, another great presentation. Guys, I'm just going to go through a little bit, a few things here with you before we pop into the Q&A portion. I can see there's a bunch of questions there off to the side, so we can kind of go through that in a moment here. Another thing I just wanted to mention again, that this is going to be recorded. I saw the question pop up a couple times there, and I do know that a few people have asked. So if anybody wasn't informed already, if you were curious, this will be recorded and shared with everybody after today. I'm going to do the polls tab here. So bear with me here, folks. I'm going to try and see if I can get this to publish. There we go. So there should be a poll published in there. I would appreciate if everybody could participate in that. The poll tab is going to be on a scale from 1 to 10. How likely are you to recommend this workshop to a friend? Once you respond to these and give us feedback, it just allows us to continue to run these sorts of workshops and to make sure that the content and everything that we're putting together for the attendees is good. So yeah, feel free to respond to the poll there that I've popped in. What I'd like to do here is I'd like to share a little bit more course information really quickly with everybody. So bear with me. I'm going to try and do this and hope this doesn't close on me a second time today. Let's pop over to this. Awesome. So let's go through some of the information here. If you've enjoyed today's workshop, we would love to have you continue your learning journey with us. Obviously, we do offer educational offerings here. My favorite part of hosting these events usually is kind of sharing some of the work that our students have done with us. So, whether it's creating Unity scenes, obviously you just went through, you saw a whole bunch on the live workshop, but whether it's creating Unity scenes or doing, AR technology with Vuforia, creating mind-blowing experiences with the scripting. That's one of the things that I enjoy a lot, obviously sharing the students' work and their experience here with us. We do have more of that on our website as well. We've got case studies and lots of information for that. Our students, this is a great snapshot of a few of our students here. Ultimately, we love to help our students along their learning path and help them achieve amazing things. On the screen right now are just a few examples of our students who've gone on to carve out their careers in XR afterwards, XR design and development. One thing I'm going to share some information about the courses here. In particular, this one here is one that I'm quite excited to share. This is the new one today that we are just announcing. Basically, this is going to be our new self-paced course. It is going to be an intro to AR. It is live now in the sense that you are able to purchase this right after today's workshop and moving forward. But instead of our full 8 and 10-week courses, this is a little bit smaller. It's a 6-part recorded video course that allows you to kind of work through things at your own pace. The ultimate goal is that it would allow you to create and develop your own app for you to begin your portfolio. This course here, I think I mentioned it earlier, but we were looking at price points starting around $50 for the pre-recorded session. That would be the 6-hour course, although we may be offering some other ones as well. That's one thing I was excited to share with people. It gives everybody an opportunity to jump into this industry and into this career a little bit easier. Also gives you an opportunity to get a better understanding before you jump into development or design as a specialization. The Introduction to Unity course, I mentioned it earlier, but it is the next cohort here would be February 14th. This is the 8-week course that would be a true introduction to Unity, 3D applications, AR, VR, but Unity as a whole. We have our XR development with Unity course. This is the 10-week course. Again, beginner friendly. You're going to be learning to do AR, VR apps in Unity. This would break down to the 3 hours of live instruction per week. And then we will also have the open office hours, 5 hours of those per week. Again, this one's portfolio based. It is all project based. By the end of it, you will also have some portfolio developed apps that you'll be able to share, our industry recognized certifications, and then both our development and our design course would have the opportunity for weekly one-on-one support. Our development course is currently partnered with the University of British Columbia as well as the University of Toronto. Both cohort start dates upcoming here would be January 11th of 2022. And I did mention earlier that the interaction design course is also going to be offered through the universities very soon. More updates on that to come. And of course, look for our new university partnerships. We will have a few more of those to announce very, very soon as well. So let's pop through here. The interaction design course that I mentioned before, this is the other one here. This is also a 10-week course focused much more on the design component, the prototyping, the user experience. It is all project-based the same way as the development course. All the the details around the timing and everything would be the same, and this also comes with the option for one-on-one support with the plus packages for that course. What do we have here? Oh, our certifications. This is really important to note as well. So this is a really simple kind of visualization as to how the certifications would work through Circuit Stream. Basically, the Introduction to Development course would reward you with a certificate of completion for the course itself, and then it would give you the opportunity to write the user exam, for the certification through Unity Direct. That's for this one. The user certification would be for the Introduction to Unity. The XR development course and the interaction design course both would come with Circuit Stream's standard global certification. You'd be certified as either a developer or you'd be certified as a designer. And then taking a closer look at our community here, once you're brought in, once you join any of our courses, beyond the lessons themselves, we have also created a pretty robust community of XR learners. All of our students and our alumni get lifetime access to all of the material, the recordings from the class, but also lifetime access to all of the perks associated with our courses. That would mean access to our live open office hours. Even after you've completed the course, you can attend those, you can participate in those. And then even larger than that, our Slack community is just a great hub for people to connect, to interact with each other. Developers can, connect with designers and vice versa. And, for people, if we bring in guest speakers, anybody that we bring into the community would be included in that network there. And one of the coolest things, again, about all of our courses is that they are set up to be no experience required. So that means that beginners should have no fear to start. One of the most common questions I get is, what sort of experience do I have to have before I start the course? And the answer truly is none. As long as you have the excitement and the interest in the area, we can teach you from there. The package options, this is really important to mention as well. So we have the starter package and we have the plus package. These two options would be available for both the XR development course as well as the interaction design course. The two different packages, I guess I'm just going to explain this here. The plus package, the difference you can obviously see, it comes with an extra 4 weeks of C# scripting. It also comes with 10 hours of private time with the instructor. Incredibly valuable if you have specific app development in mind, or if you just learn a little bit better from a private one-on-one environment, or if you're a little bit more advanced than maybe the beginner level, you could even look at doing the individual one-on-one packages separate from the courses too. So those are the two pricing bundles. Not not shown on screen here is the Introduction to Unity course. The tuition for that course is $2,500. And then the new course, which I mentioned here today, the price point that we're going to start for the 6 hours is going to be about $50 for that one. And then we have, oh, you know what, I will mention for the university partners too, I should note that the finance plans are available through the universities as well. Payment plans overall, that's something I should note, I guess, first. We have 3, 6, and 12-month finance plans. So again, that would be available through the direct courses, but also available through the universities. The lovely admissions team here at CircuitStream. I say lovely because I'm on the team, so a little bit giving myself a pat on the back, I guess. But this is our full team. We've got Roham, Leanne, myself, Christina, and Brendan. All of us are happy to help anybody with any sort of questions, any information. If you're looking at our courses, you know, we're here to kind of assist with any of that. So if you reach out and connect with any of us here, just, you know, these are the faces, I guess, aside from Christina's. This is who you'd be talking to here. And then our website info. Feel free to head over to our learning page on our website. All of our information is there. These are the direct URL access. The CS at the bottom would be our main website. And we have the U of T and the UBC links here as well. So feel free, you can also screenshot that, I guess, if you wanted to take some of the links with you or to remember them afterwards there. And again, it's recorded. So. And that's it, guys. That really is the end of the presentation here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to flip back over to the main screen here, and we can kind of pop over to the questions section. We're almost right on time, which is awesome. I love this. So what we can do here is we can go through some of the questions. We can just kind of start up at the top. I'm going to try and sort this by not answered. And we can see what we can do here. Is there a link to set up the Oculus Quest 2 on a Mac as a prerequisite for the workshop? Before I jump into these, actually, why don't we invite Nikisa back up on the stage here? There she is. As I started reading the questions, I got in over my head already, so this is good. Good that you're here. So we can start that. I'll just post these up, Nikisa, one by one, okay. But I'll let you kind of take this one.
Okay. So, is there a link set up for Oculus Quest 2 on a Mac or as a prerequisite for the workshop? I am sad to say that the link will not work on a Mac. It will not work on a Mac. You will need to build it onto the headset and do it from there. So, unfortunately, the link only works for PCs with accepted graphics cards. It won't work on a Mac.
Okay. Let's do this one. I think this is another one for you here, Nikisa.
Yeah. Do classes also cover how to create assets? Do you mean creating assets in Blender or creating assets using a 3D modeling software? We don't go over using Blender, but we do go over importing assets. So as long as you export as an FBX or an OBJ, the classes covers how to handle those things.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do, it looks like we've got another question here regarding Apple and Mac. And I do apologize if your previous answer answered this. I'm just going to pop it up quickly in case it didn't.
Ooh, what version of Unity should you download for Apple Silicon Mac? That's the new one, isn't it? With the new architecture chip, the M1, isn't it? I would wager the newest release of Unity, because I'm not sure what the compatibility is for the architecture of the chip, but I'm guessing that the newest version of Unity will be, or at least will soon have, compatibility with the Apple Silicon Mac. So that is a 2021, the highest version of 2021, or when 2022 is released, use that one.
Awesome. And then we've got another one here. I'm learning about architectural design. Let's pop this one up here.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely it will. We've dealt with placing game objects. We've played with placing canvases and doing some UI work there. So yeah, absolutely, this workshop will help with the process of making environments.
Perfect. And I'm just going to pop up a couple questions here, Nikisa, that came up during the presentation, and just make sure that we got some answers to those.
Yes. So how to stop that? Can I share my screen?
Of course.
Okay. So how to stop? You go into lightings and you see where it says auto generate? You uncheck that auto generate. And then it won't generate real-time lighting. So it'll only generate lighting, generate your baked lighting when you click this button. And there we go.
Perfect. And I see one here. I did mention this a couple times through the presentation. You may have already gotten the answer here, but I'll pop this up really quickly and note that yes, all of our courses are beginner friendly. If you were a little bit more advanced, if you were looking for something a little bit more intricate, you could also look at the private one-on-one packages. The instructors are all experts in the field, and their knowledge isn't limited to the course curriculum, I guess you could say. So the one-on-one packages are good for anybody who's not beginner, but yes, the courses are definitely beginner friendly. Let's pop up to the top here. Tried the latest version. Let's put this. Not compatible. Okay.
Oh, if that's the case, you're going to have to wait for a newer version of Unity until it's released that is compatible with the Apple chip.
And this one looks like it might be something for you.
Can Sidequest be used to load an app on a headset automatically? Yes, it can. Absolutely.
Awesome. And then I'm just going through here. There was a question about doing a walkthrough of the museum. I think you kind of did a little bit of that. Computer's characteristics, or I'm just doing a look through to see if there's anything here that we haven't kind of already covered. And some of these were going back a little earlier. More detail. Oh, where did that question go? More detail about how to downgrade to monitor, keyboard, and mouse.
Yeah, so that is with, here, let me share my screen again.
I'll put that back up here while I'm looking through.
So downgrade your monitoring keyboard. Now, the XR Interaction Toolkit is really flexible in that in your samples, it has an XR device simulator where you can simulate using your WASD keys to simulate being in XR, being in VR. So you just like download and import these mappings, and then you switch over your input settings on your XR rig. Let's go to the inspector, and then you switch over to input actions. Clicking on this, go into default XR device simulator controls, and it should work.
Awesome. And then we just had this one pop in.
Can I bundle this to view on Oculus Quest? Yeah, all you have to do is switch over to Android settings and then build it. And that should be good to go for an Oculus Quest. The XR Interaction Toolkit is cross-platform, so you can use it for Oculus Quest, you can use it for Vive, you can use it for Index, all those things.
Awesome. And it looks like we had another question follow up to the Mac question. I'll pop that one back up there.
Bootstrap or Parallel on the Mac. I haven't tried that. That sounds a little sketchy, but I'm not a stranger to sketchy stuff because I do have a virtual machine with Mac OS, which is illegal, so don't tell anyone. So it might be possible. It might be. I'm going to go with a plausible answer for that. I don't know the answer for sure, but it might be plausible.
Awesome. And I feel like we've covered the majority of the questions in here. What do we, any jobs for sound designer, audio implementation? That was another question that we had on here. For sound design?
Sound design?
Mm-hmm. This was the question that popped up.
Any jobs for sound designer or audio implementation? There are people who specialize in audio. There is people who specialize in spatial audio as well. So spatial audio in VR is something really important. It's when it sounds like something is behind you. So it sounds appropriate that it's behind you. And it has to do with something called an HRTF function, which is basically how sound transfers through your skull and into your other side of your ear. And that is all packaged in spatial audio plugins. Awesome. So that's the specialization in audio that you could use.
Awesome, awesome. And then I'll put this one up here.
CAD-related transfer function. Sorry, that's it. Not heat-related. Thermodynamics.
And so this one here, what are your insights about increasing numbers of metaverse cyberspaces, the opportunities as an XR developer? I mean, on my end, I can at least say that obviously, you know, we're having conversations with people in all industries right now. There's massive expansion with AR, VR that we're seeing, you know, in every direction basically right now. So my insights are, it's a really good time to get involved if it's an interest of yours. But yeah, you can add a little bit to that too if you want, Nikisa.
Yeah, for sure. I don't believe that the Matrix is going to happen. I don't believe that. I think where XR shines is when it is strong enough and more capable enough to be worn as glasses. So I'm super excited for the Apple glasses. And I just want to know how they're going to do it. I want to know, yeah, there are Ray-Bans. There's a Snapchat. There are things that extend outside of smart eyewear. And I think that will be the future. So if you can get your hands on, or if you can understand the design and how to design for not just VR and AR, but also MR, mixed reality. So that's going to be your HoloLens. That's going to be your Magic Leap. That's going to be your AR glasses. I think that is where the opportunity, that's where the growth is going to be in the next few years.
Awesome. And then this one looks like it's a Nikisa style answer.
How how did you enter the hierarchy in the XR rig? Oh, you just click on it. You just click. Here, let me show you. You click it, and then you click it. Click these little arrows here, and then click these little arrows and these little arrows. All these little arrows here. And that's how you enter the hierarchy for the XR rig. You can also click on Open Prefab, because this is a prefab, and it shows you all the things in there. And then you click on that little button to enter back into the scene view. Now you can see it's partially done baking because I stopped it right in the middle because it was doing something to my machine. A prefab is just a pre-configured game object that persists throughout your project and not just in the scene. So prefabs are blue, game objects, regular game objects are just white. And that's it.
Awesome. Well, I think, you know, if we, I think that actually kind of got most of the questions answered there. And we're actually going to finish basically right on time here, which I was not anticipating for my first hosted workshop. So yeah, I guess if there's any last things here, if anybody has any final questions, they can pop it in here. I guess I should keep that open in case. But yeah, otherwise, this has been great. Thank you so much, Nikisa, for another awesome workshop. Happy to have my my first one under my belt, I guess, from this side too. Not bad for your first showing. Thank you so much, guys. But yeah, we'll have more of these. Actually, I don't have the date of the next workshop in front of me right now. I probably should have had that up and running, ready to go. But these workshops run almost every week, if not every week. You'll see them pretty often. So just head to our website, circuitstream.com. check out the workshop tab. All of the workshops are free. And then if you have any questions about our new course that we've just launched there, these pre-recorded one, probably going to get a ton of interest. So feel free to reach out and let the team know. And then outside of that, of course, if you have any questions, if you need anything from us, you can reach out to us anytime. So that's it. I guess that concludes the VR museum building workshop for today. Thank you again, Nikisa. And I guess we can take that and complete it for the day. Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Cheers. Thank you, everybody. Have a really good day.
Bye.
Bye.